Gather close, gamers and gamerettes, because PUBG just turned on its full domination mode. As if dominating the Battle Royale genre wasn't enough, PUBG Corporation and Krafton has now decided to roll up to the extraction shooter party wearing sunglasses, holding a mysterious briefcase and whispering,
"Black budget."
The reveal didn't just shake the table, it straight up body slammed it. Out of nowhere, PUBG announces a supernatural time loop PvPvE extraction shooter with 45 players, factions, and something called the Anomaly.
Which honestly sounds like the final boss of every gamer's sleep schedule.
The best part of it all, it's dropping right when Tarkov hits 1.0 and Arc Raiders is popping off, meaning PUBG basically walked into the most competitive arena imaginable and said, "We'll take our freaking chances." Welcome to PUBG Black Budget, and welcome to the madness. To understand why PUBG launching an extraction shooter is such a power move, you have to remember where this franchise came from, because PUBG's origin story isn't just gaming history, it's gaming freaking mythology. Back in 2017, a little early access experiment called PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds dropped onto Steam like a meteor crash, except instead of killing dinosaurs, it wiped out every other game's chance of being relevant for the next 6 freaking months. PUBG took the Arma 2 DayZ mod formula, slapped some duct tape, and created the modern battle royale boom practically overnight, guys. Apparently people forgot how influential it was. Streamers exploded, memes exploded, friendships exploded because someone stole the last medkit. PUBG didn't just launch a genre, it launched a global obsession, paving the way for Fortnite, Apex Legends, and every indie developer who thought,
"What if we also dropped 100 people onto an island and hope for the best?"
But the real power move came in 2021 when Krafton rebranded the original game to PUBG Battlegrounds, confirming that, yes, we now live in a timeline where PlayerUnknown's Battleground exists. And with that rebrand came a bigger mission. PUBG wasn't a game anymore, guys, it was an entire entertainment universe. We then got PUBG Mobile, which basically printed more money than the Bank of America. We got PUBG New State, which tried to reinvent the formula with cyberpunk vibes, guys. And then there was the curveball, the Callisto Protocol, which was originally supposed to be set in the far future of the PUBG universe. That connection was dropped later, but the fact that PUBG even considered expanding into sci-fi horror proves just how aggressively the franchise wanted to evolve. And evolve it did. Fast forward to this year, not one but 2 PUBG spin-off projects get announced, the tactical shooter PUBG Blind Spot and now this, PUBG Black Budget. PUBG isn't branching out anymore, guys, it's straight up freaking mutating. The franchise has transformed from one game that started a genre into the shape-shifting hydra of modern multiplayer freaking shooters. So, when PUBG says we're making our own extraction shooter, this isn't a random decision, guys, it's the next phase of PUBG's master plan. Expand, experiment, and become the gaming universe equivalent of a multi-billion-dollar hydra with unlimited ammo. Black Budget isn't PUBG's side project, it's the next evolution of a franchise that refuses to sit still. Alright, let's drop into the real madness. PUBG Black Budget, the game that looked at the extraction shooter genre, took one deep breath and said,
"We're built different."
And honestly, it kind of is. This isn't just PUBG with extra loot, guys, or PUBG but spooky. Oh no. This is PUBG slipping on night vision goggles, grabbing a clipboard and entering the Tarkov Arc Raiders gladiator pit with the confidence of someone who definitely didn't read the fine print. First off, Black Budget describes itself as a tension, survival, and the unknown extraction shooter, which is short for you're gonna lose your loot, your squad, and your mental stability, but it will be fun. The game takes place on a mysterious island trapped in a time loop, which means every run is basically PUBG speedrunning a sci-fi plot twist. The island is surrounded and influenced by a supernatural force called the Anomaly, which shrinks the playable area as the match goes on. Think Battle Royale Storm, but make it interdimensional horror. And yes, guys, PUBG absolutely threw in supernatural elements because why not? If Tarkov is gritty realism and Arc Raiders is robot apocalypse chaos, PUBG said let's go full Ghost Island with time manipulation. At this point, they're not competing, they're going for freaking style points. Black Budget also shifts entirely into first person. Not option, not flexible, not press V to switch. This is a committed first-person experience. PUBG, they saw players switching between third and first person in Battlegrounds and said,
"Pick a side, coward, we're doing immersion today."
Then we get to the features list, which is basically a shopping cart full of extraction shooter ingredients. 2.5 by 2.5 kilometer open world, small enough for constant danger, big enough for someone to definitely camp in a bush for 29 freaking minutes. 30-minute sessions so you can lose everything quickly and efficiently. Up to 3 player squads, perfect for 2 friends and 1 guy who always goes freaking rogue. 45 players per match, which means 44 enemies and one teammate demanding healing they do not deserve. PvPvE encounters.
Because players weren't stressful enough, now there are NPCs who also want to ruin your freaking day.
But the feature that, in my opinion, really stands out: factions. There are 3 rival groups, each offering missions and rewards through a loyalty system. Choose a faction, disappoint the other 2, and enjoy being judged every time you loot their freaking bodies. This adds political drama to the usual extraction pain. Imagine Tarkov, but with workplace loyalty cards. Then comes the progression system. Ho ho, and sweet baby loot goblins, this game has freaking layers. Meta progression via skills, permanent upgrades, a customizable base, research stations for story progression, extensive weapon and gear customization. PUBG brainstormed an idea and came up with: what if we merge Tarkov's realism, Arc Raider's sci-fi energy, and a tiny hint of Fallout settlement building? Suddenly, you're not just extracting loot, you're upgrading your crib, researching lore, tweaking guns, unlocking perks, and accidentally creating a spreadsheet to keep up with freaking everything. And yes, the customization looks deep. PUBG loves giving players attachments, but Black Budget seems ready to offer enough weapon mods to turn a simple rifle into a Frankenstein monstrosity that would make engineers freaking cry. If you can imagine it, the game will probably let you attach it.
Or at least duct tape it on.
And all of this is announced at the perfect moment. Tarkov 1.0 released, Arc Raiders just had a mega popular launch, and extraction shooters are booming harder than Battle Royales did in 2017. PUBG is stepping in now, like showing up to a race late but wearing jet boosters and holding a "trust me, I belong here" freaking sign. PUBG Black Budget isn't playing it safe, it's going all in, reinventing itself and embracing supernatural madness to stand out. Whether it succeeds? Well, let's find out. Now here is where the real fun begins. The extraction shooter battlefield, the craziest, most trust-destroying, friendship-ending genre in modern gaming. PUBG isn't just stepping into competition, it's stepping into the competition. This genre, guys, is filled with players who spend 700 hours learning recoil patterns, calculating bullet drop like NASA engineers, and listening for footsteps the way bats use freaking echolocation. Escape from Tarkov just launched its long-awaited 1.0, and now the community is split evenly between celebration and confusion. Tarkov veterans can identify ammo types faster than doctors identify freaking symptoms. So, PUBG entering this arena means one thing: the sweatiest gamers on earth are watching, and they're already sharpening their mousepads. Then there is Arc Raiders, a game that crash landed into the genre and instantly blew up with huge praise. It's flashy, it's frantic, it's stylish, and it's fun. The kind of game that walks past a Tarkov player and says, "Relax bro, touch some grass, shoot some robots." Arc Raiders is the cool cousin at the family barbecue, while Tarkov is the uncle who insists you learn how to tie 14 different knots
For survival reasons.
So you might be asking, where does PUBG Black Budget fit in? Somewhere in the middle. PUBG has the brand recognition, the fan base, and the track record, but it's also entering a genre where players expect 2 things: pain and suffering. Extraction shooters aren't just games, guys, they're emotional damage delivery systems wrapped in freaking loot mechanics. But Black Budget has something the others don't: the PUBG identity. PUBG players already know how to handle madness, third-party fights, bad luck, and teammates who disappear the moment combat starts. Adding a supernatural twist and a time loop actually feels weirdly natural. Like PUBG asking, what if we took your old trauma and remastered it? But here is where the stakes get real. Black Budget has to convince 2 very different groups of players at the same time. Extraction shooter veterans who trust no one, fear everything, and have built emotional walls stronger than Fortnite players' actual walls. And casual PUBG fans who just want fun, guys. They want loot. They don't want calculated muzzle velocity at 200 meters using a high school physics textbook. If PUBG can merge both audiences, Black Budget could be a massive hit. But if it leans too far into hardcore realism or too far into supernatural silliness, the community will flip them off. And all of this leads into the next big moment, the December closed alpha, where PUBG will discover if they've built the next giant of the genre or an island where players instantly die to the Anomaly and uninstall in 5 freaking minutes. Either way, it's going to be entertaining.
And disastrous in the best possible way.
PUBG Black Budget is shaping up to be one of the most ambitious, bizarre, and exciting extraction shooters we're going to see yet. It basically takes everything PUBG learned, everything Tarkov pioneered, everything our creators energized, and mixes it all into one supernatural time-looping pressure cooker of PvPvE insanity. This game could genuinely shake up the genre, not by copying the competition, but by showing up with its own weird island, its own factions, its own story systems, its own customizable base.
And a big glowing anomaly yelling, "Get out or die."
Now, whether Black Budget becomes the next genre-defining title or just a beautiful disaster remains to be seen, but one thing is certain. PUBG is not playing it safe. They're going big, they're going bold, and they're absolutely ready to watch extraction shooter fans lose their freaking minds. And that alone makes the future of extraction shooters very, very interesting. What do you guys think? Is PUBG Black Budget about to shake the entire extraction genre, or will the Anomaly delete the game and our sanity on day freaking one? Drop your thoughts down below.
Before Tarkov veterans show up and judge our freaking opinions.
And guys, thank you once again for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, please consider leaving a like and subscribing for more content in the future. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one.